No sweat. Give me 1 second, Israel. Give me 1 second. And Malachi. You see you for a second? You know what they meant like? You see you for a second? Water. The water caught the gun. Give me 1 second, TikTok. Rocking and rolling. All right. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashinah Shabrak Thumb, Yahweh Shemal Thumb Bashinah Shah. I am priest and officer 5,000 Yadiah, holding it down. This is the feast of the dedication of Hachaanakah, the feast day of the Lord, man. And we got to understand, right? These feast days that we have, along with these high holy days, are extremely important because right now our people are gearing up by God in the world, you know what I mean, wanting to celebrate. You know what I mean? The oppressor's Christmas and all that other nonsense, man. But we have high holy days that our God wants us to celebrate. Feast of the dedication of Hachaanakah, we're going to go over it tonight. Our righteous brother, Matthias, and his righteous sons, man, that stood up against the Greeks, that stood up against the Romans, that stood up against the oppressor. And if you didn't understand that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. If I could, Quatazar Quran, in Deuteronomy chapter 32, right? Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, Baba Quashaw. Think of the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. You got any questions, of course, you know what I mean, on the feast day of Hachaanakah. You got any other questions, you can now be answering your questions tonight. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, Baba Quashaw.
This book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 7.
Go ahead.
Remember the days of old.
Remember the what?
The days of old.
Remember the days of old. Our God is telling us to remember the days of old. Meaning this, man, we have to remember how things work. We got to remember our customs. We got to remember our identity. Right. Our God, our King, our law, these laws, statutes, and commandments, these high holy days, these feast days. Remember the days of old. The first thing we got to do, man, is remember how things work. Because we are more than what they depict us as African Americans. We're not African Americans. We're not descendants of Leo, Scipios, Africanus, or Americos Vespucci. That's two oppressors. We're the Jews, the Israelites of antiquity, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And our God is telling us that we have to remember the days of old. We got to remember Hachaanakah. We got to remember these feast days. Remember how our people stood stiffly, you know what I mean, for the Most High. They went up against the Greeks. Went up against, you know what I mean, the oppressor. The same oppressor of, you know, Alexander the Greek of Macedonia, you know what I mean, that ruled Greece. The same oppressors that ruled Rome are the same oppressors that ruled America. We have to remember the days of old. Keep going.
Consider the years of many generations.
Consider the years of many generations. We got to understand this truth is what we have to pass down. We got to pass this truth on to our babies, man, to our children.
Right.
Consider the years of many generations. Remember, you know what I mean, what it was like. Remember our custom. Remember what our God said. Our God declared us to be a holy people, a separate people unto himself, above all people upon the face of the earth. That's all throughout the Torah. That's all throughout the Bible. Our God is only dealing with the children of Israel. Keep going.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee, man. That's why, man, if you know you an Israelite, man, that is an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing. And Hachaanakah Yahweh Shah for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Our God sent his prophets back in 1969. I was watching them black Negroes on TikTok talk about, well, you know, we lost all of our great Negro leaders. They all gone. There are no more. That's a lie.
Right.
That's a lie. I remember I was watching the Judas and the Black Messiah about Fred Hampton. And my sister was like, damn, little bro, like, that's rough. Like, what do we do now? Like, because Fred Hampton, you know what I mean? They unalived him in 1969. I was like, well, listen, sis. The Lord sent his prophets back in 1969. He sent his prophets back on the earth in 1969, man. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right.
The I.S.U.P.K, under command of GEN.YAHANNA. Rose up Abba Bibbins, who then rose up, you know what I mean, Chief Head Priest Mashah, Ariyah, Yaquan, you know what I mean, Yeshaya, Shaw, Kazak, Lahab, raising up them powerful priests, man. That raised up Commander GEN.YAHANNA, that raised up these generals and captains and officers. Ask thy father, he will show thee. That's why when you ask your questions, man, we answer them.
Right.
We don't shy away from nothing here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We do not shy away from anything, man. That's why our God told us that we have to remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Right. You may not want to hear this, man. I don't care if you're a fake Israelite. I don't care if you're an individual like on TikTok and Twitter and YouTube or in that Christian church. Guess what? I.S.U.P.K is your daddy. You would not know if you was an Israelite. You wouldn't know this because half of y'all be using the 12-tribe chart anyway. But the Lord revealed that to Chief Head Priest Ariyah. Right. That's one West. And the only way to be one West is to be in the I.S.U.P.K under command of GEN.YAHANNA. Right. Everything else is just a cheap imitation. Everything else is just you masquerading as a priest. It's no different than, you know what I mean, Quatazar Karab's young sons putting on a fireman's uniform and thinking they're a fireman. That's how we look at you. And that's why it's important to come back in this body. It's important to come back in this body and understand who we are as a people and do it the right way. We have to. Because the problem is our people get caught up in idolatry. And when I say get caught up in idolatry, I'm talking about that Christmas. Right. Y'all get caught up in the in the nonsense of this world, because Christmas is nonsense. If you are a grown Black or Latino or First Nation man or woman telling your kids about Santa Claus, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Don't you understand that Christmas comes from the pagan, you know what I mean, holiday Saturnalia, where the Romans, you know what I mean, where the Greeks and the Romans, who we're going to read about today, who were evil bastards, would get together and have relations with each other and then exchange gifts afterwards. Grown, oppressive men. Good night, Quatazar. And then y'all try to say, oh, it's Christ's birthday. But Christ wasn't born on December 25th. Nimrod was. Right. Ooh-wee. Your Christmas is shrouded in paganism. You know what I mean? All of these different holidays, New Year's. But we have feast days that our God wants us to observe. Right. We have feast days. We have high holy days. We're in one right now, the Feast of Hachaanakah. That's why you can't sell out. Let me get Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1. Then we're going to go into the Maccabees. We'll go right to the Maccabees, get right into it.
God. This is the book of Proverbs 3, verse 31.
And right, here's the thing with Saturnalia, right? The reason why they associate that around that time on December 25th, because Nimrod was born on December 25th. And the main, we're going to go into it, briefly. The main reason why you celebrate that Christmas and have that tree is shrouded in paganism that stems all the way back to Babylon.
Right.
all the way back to Babylon. God is against Christmas. Well, we can go to Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. I can break it down for you if you need me to. I can break down why Christmas is pagan, and then I'll show you what we should be celebrating today. Go ahead, Claudia. Who got Proverbs?
I got Proverbs.
Go ahead, Abba.
This is the book of Proverbs, the 3, verse 31.
Go ahead.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Understand that. The Lord said, envy thou not the oppressor. Meaning, do not envy what the oppressor has. And let me tell you something. A lot of you are going to fall into this trap right here. Right. The oppressor is going to make you feel like you're a bad parent if you don't go out and get a Christmas tree and get gifts for those kids. First of all, half the kids don't deserve them gifts anyway. And if you have good children, I'm not saying Israel don't have good kids, but we have excellent children here in the I.S.U.P.K. We reward our kids for just being good kids. Hachaanakah don't got to give his son a PS5, on December 25th. His son already got it because his son's a righteous son. Right. And if he didn't get it, he'll get it, when his father is ready for him to get it. Understand that. All phones on me, Bubba Show. That's what we got to realize, man. Our God said, envy thou not the oppressor. Don't look at what the oppressor is doing and what he has and say, oh, I got to get caught up in that. I have to do that. I have to get down with that. Don't be that, brother. Don't be that sister. Don't look at what these heathens are doing and what they have and say, I have to have it. No, because we have the greatest thing on this earth. Like, we have our God, Yahweh. We have our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And he's not for everybody. And these heathens know it. They know it. So don't envy them. When they celebrating their Christmas, don't teach your kids early on that Christmas is satanic, that it is evil. That's right. You have to train them kids up and teach them, in the beginning, that this is sinister. This is wicked. Keep going.
And choose none of his ways.
And choose none of his ways. Don't choose any way of the oppressor. And what is the ways of the oppressor? I'll tell you. Christmas is the way of the oppressor. Right. Like, come on now. Like, you know how many of our people really struggle around this time, Bakoyala? You know how many of our people really go through it around the holiday season because they feel as though they're not good parents because they can't provide for their kids? Well, you're going to be doing double and triple and quadruple overtime. You know what I mean? You're already behind on that electric bill. You're already behind on that mortgage and that car note, and God knows what else. And you know what you do? You go and bankrupt yourself, to appease really your God, the oppressor. Because he said, get together on December 25th, and exchange gifts and bow yourself down to them. He told you to get together on the second to last Thursday in November for your family, when half you don't even like your family to begin with. Right. Try to get together with your family on a dinner outside of Thanksgiving and see how that works out for you. See how that works out for you. Because if it was really just about family and love and prosperity and coming together, you wouldn't do it on the day where our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben, the Seminole Indians, the first nation, man and woman, you wouldn't do it on a day where they're mourning mourning the genocide that happened to them, man, that happened to our people. And if you celebrate it, you a damn cool. Only the slave and the slave master will celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's. Which are you? Which are you? You're not the slave master. You're the slave. And our God said, man, in Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 14, that is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Is that what we become here in America? Is that what we become all across the earth? That's why we got to come out of that, man. Our God said, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Like, ain't nothing the oppressor do. Shalom, I go to Christ. Ain't nothing that they do is beneficial to us. The oppressor could live. What's the word I'm looking for, Alish? The oppressor could live an alternative lifestyle. He can do that. We can't. We can't. The oppressor can be a criminal. I need you to understand, Partner Zakarab, the oppressor can be Jesse James. He could be MGK. You know what I mean? He could be, Al Capone. He could be the biggest drug dealer and gangster to be and get celebrated while we get locked down under the jail. Under the jail. Like, look what happens to our people, man. It's terrible. Terrible trying to live that lifestyle, man. They gave ARM, what, Bakoyala, like 38 years? Like 38. Like, goddamn, brother. They get like Thug is going through it right now, Young Thug in Atlanta. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Because these ways are the way of the oppressor. We can't do that. We cannot do that, Hachaanakah. As a matter of fact, let's get into it. Let's go to 1 Maccabees, right? Take me to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. Now, you don't understand, we're in the Apocrypha. This is the King James Apocrypha. If you get a 1611 King James Bible, right, this Apocrypha will be in it. But the oppressor in the Roman Catholic Church had this taken out because they're the devil that the Bible speaks of. The Apocrypha is biblical canon. And I can prove it to you in the Bible. Because did you know what I mean? I believe it's in John 10 and 22, I buy. You know what I mean? Christ celebrated the feast of Hachaanakah, the feast of the dedication. Wait a minute. What do you read about the feast of the dedication of Hachaanakah? In the Apocrypha. Well, if you got a 1611 King James Bible, let me show you some history, right? That they don't want us to know that it's actually in the Bible. It's actually there. Did you know that Alexander, they call him Alexander the Great. It's Alexander the Greek. Right. Did you know that he's in the Bible? That he was written about? Oh yeah, we're gonna go into it tonight. We're gonna go into it and show you why the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Who got what I asked for in 1 Maccabees?
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. Mm-hmm. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip.
Who?
Alexander, son of Philip.
Alexander, son of Philip. Read.
The Macedonian.
The who?
Macedonian.
Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian. Macedonia or the Macedonians are Edomites. They're oppressors. Alexander the Greek was an oppressor, a Macedonian. And we broke this down before, I.S.U.P.K. We've done this in my class a couple of times. In Daniel, the 7th chapter, it speaks about those beasts. The first, you know what I mean, when it was like a lion with eagle's wings, was talking about, you know what I mean, Babylon. And then with the bear, you know what I mean, it was talking about the Persian and the Medes under Darius. And then the other was like a leopard, because when Alexander came along, he wore, you know what I mean, the leopard skin around him. He wore it around him because that leopard was symbolizing Alexander and the Greek Empire. And that one with that iron teeth that came after that leopard, guess what? That was the Roman Empire. Ooh-wee. That's in the Bible, young man and young sister. I pray you understand. Now it's talking about after Alexander, the son of Philip the Macedonian, read.
Who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians, and Medes. Now, he had smitten, meaning he unalived Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes. That's Daniel, the 7th chapter right there, Officer Karam Yala. Because after the Persian and the Medes fell, who destroyed the Persian and the Medes? They came. Because before the Persians and the Medes, you had Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. After Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon, you had Darius with the Persians and the Medes. Now it says, right, and after the Persians and the Medes, Daniel prophesied that it was going to be another kingdom to come after them. That was like a leopard. And Alexander the Greek, you can look up many, many different pictures and depictions of him. He wore that leopard around him. That's in the Bible. Yes, Alexander was in the Bible. Yes, he was right there. Alexander the Greek. And he slew, he unalived Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes. Keep reading. That he reigned in his stead.
And he reigned in his stead. He reigned in his stead. Now, this is going, and which is really important to understand, right? This is when the oppressor started to gain power again. This is when they started to feel themselves Bakayala. This is when they started to circumnavigate the earth, when Alexander started to go on an unaliving spree. Let's keep going. Let's keep reading.
The first over Greece.
The first over Greece. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And y'all love, listen, let me tell you something was so heavy, right? Let me tell you what's so heavy about it, right? Y'all love the Greeks. we're gonna get into that too. I hold where in Maccabees, I believe it's in Second Maccabees, where Second Maccabees 6 and 6, and then Bakar y'all will find me where it says where they preferred the custom of the Greeks in Second Maccabees. Find me that precept. But you hold Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Because let me say what's so heavy about that, right? And how you reigned the first over Greeks. Now, y'all may not understand this, but in y'all universities and y'all schools, some of y'all Negroes love Greek culture. You love it. Some of y'all sisters, man, with the sage burning and, you know what I mean, your astrology sign. That's why when the Lord said in Jeremiah, learn not the way of the heathen and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Talking about I'm a Leo, a Sagittarius, a Virgo, a Gemini. Got some brothers too. Like I slaved with a brother quite died. He been trying to figure out what the fuck I am since whatever. I tell him a different sign every day because it's all nonsense. Right. It's all nonsense, man. But our people has an infatuation with Greek customs and culture because you love your oppressor daddy. You love, and it's a sad state of affairs for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And why we got to come out of this, man. Keep going, Quadazar. Let me go and get to the freestyle score.
Verse 2, and made many wars, and won many strongholds.
And let me say, hold on 1 second. To answer something on TikTok, Hassan, just make sure you're a brother or Palestinian. Well, let me just say this. You're right. I'm not a rabbi. You know what rabbis do to children? Okay, all right, okay. Your rabbis have a certain level of proclivities that they like to do with minors. They do. They have illnesses that were transmitted by the pleasure that comes with sleep. That's why your rabbi is not a priest. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
I am an actual priest.
Right.
Now, I should watch. Look what he showed me. Ooh.
If I could,
go ahead, Ash.
I think it's better to call it that. They ain't gonna play.
Okay. How Matazah Papith, direct oral suctioning, can cause infection. Public health experts have found that Matazah Papith can put babies at risk of getting a harmful virus called herpes simplex virus type 1 or HSV-1. That's what your rabbis are doing to those minors. We don't do that here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. So you're right. You are absolutely correct. I am not a rabbi. I'm an actual priest of the Lord. Under command. Now your rabbi, him and the Pope frequent the same places. And the Dalai Lama. Y'all saw what the Dalai Lama and the Pope are doing to him TikTok. It ain't us. Y'all saw what the Dalai Lama did to that little boy on TV. I'm sitting there wondering, was somebody gonna help the child? What is that? Damn. It's all right. When righteous Black and Latino and First Nation men rule this earth under Christ, guess what? Those atrocities won't happen to any child. I pray you understand. Now, and had made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Listen, man, he went throughout, man, and was just. So Alexander went on an unaliving spree. Oh man, won many strongholds. Read verse 3.
Verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations.
That sounds like somebody we know. Who goes all around the earth laying claim to everything and just taking spoils? I wonder who you call him. I think you call him the president, Karam. I think you call him prime minister. I think you call him rabbi. I think you call him Netanyahu. That's what I think you call him. I think you call him Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is the real Pusheisty, of course, TikTok. That brother down south, he just pretended. Keep going.
and so much that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Verse 4.
Drop down to verse 7. So basically, Alexander went and circumnavigated the earth and just went on unaliving anything and tying fire to everything that ain't tied down, specifically of his genders. Keep going.
Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
And Alexander caught VD. And the one that begins with an S. He caught a bad case of that. There wasn't no penicillin back then. Now, keep going.
Verse 8. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves.
Now, after he died, right? After he was unalive, they put now the men under him put crowns upon their head, and now they had started to rule in his stead. His kingdom was divided up. Keep reading. To where they would rule over different, kind of like how you have America and how you have the UN on how they divide different nations up, but it's all under one banner. Keep going.
So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils were multiplied in the earth. Ooh-wee. Evils meaning this. Now the heathen is in charge. Now the oppressor is in full-fledged authority. Ooh-wee. Keep going.
Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked group. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Antiochus. Remember that name. Keep going. Surname Epiphanes.
Son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Now Antiochus is in charge, who was a wicked heathen, ruler, after Alexander. Remember that, because guess what? He ain't no different than Biden. I see a lot of y'all on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, Oscar Watt, and it is hilarious. It is hilarious. Like, y'all act like, and you know what killed, like, you know what is astonishing, Bakariala? It's what you wanted. You wanted Biden. Just like how you wanted Trump. Just like how you wanted Barry. You wanted Obama, who's a Hamite in Africa, not black or Latino, not our people. This is who you wanted. You're always trying to strive for someone to rule over us. That's not our people. They're not our people. Quite frankly, Karam Yala, it puts me in a bewilderment. Like, I'll be sitting back puzzled. I can't believe it. That our people, to this day, you still think that things are going to get better if you sell out. It's not. Now, read verse 11. As a matter of fact, read verse 11.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days came out of Israel wicked men. Oh, now we're getting into it. Now we're going to get into it. In those days, after Alexander rose up, and now you got Antiochus after him. Guess what? And you got wicked men of Israel. Keep that in mind. Keep going.
Who persuaded many.
Who persuaded many. Meaning these people, right? In this day, you had out of Israel wicked men, and they persuaded many. You know who's really good at persuading Israel today? Your pastor, your E-man, your community activist, your some crazy Negro, the conscious Negroes on TikTok. They persuade many, but keep it in mind, they're wicked. A lot of y'all look at some of them like, oh, they have this great wealth of knowledge, but they will sell you out at the drop of a dime. They'll sell you out. Do I got to start name dropping? Like, we're not going to act like, I know Umar is funny. He's hilarious. But guess what? He ain't a leader amongst our people. He's not. He told you what he's about. He's about the dollar. A sister donated $10. He's like, I know that's all you got, but you got to do better, sister. You know, you got to give 20. It's like, nigga, you're no different than that pastor. You're no different than that email. You're no different than any other scammer amongst our people. A lot of y'all look at Charleston White, who is a comedian. Who is a comedian? Who will say anything to garnish a reaction? Well, you know what? All he wants to do is make money so he can go to the strip club. That's all. He told you. He told you. And I don't care if they say the heaviest stuff. They can say whatever is heavy. But what do they do? What do their actions tell you? They'll tell you one thing, but they're doing something else. In those days, like how you have men like that now, they were back then wicked men out of Israel who persuaded many, who had influence over the people. Keep going.
Say, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Let us go and make a what?
A covenant with the heathen.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Ooh, what does it mean when it says let's make a covenant with the heathen? I knew the Bible last week. Go ahead, Bakar.
Saying join the oppressor.
Yeah. Let's go and make an agreement with them. Let's go join them. Let's go join them. What do you call somebody like that? Quadra.
Traitor.
That's right. A traitor, a sellout. And they'll do it for anything. For anything. Go ahead, Ashtawat.
If I could, what be heavy about that is our people today cannot fathom that you taking a loss when you take on somebody else's philosophy and you try to join yourself to another people, especially when they're not trying to join on you like that. That's why you're going to end up with the NBA instead of the Negro League. Like, you're not going to own it no more. They're going to find out a way to use you and get more power because you're more people power. You know what I'm saying? That's what nations do. They take over smaller nations and then get the people to assimilate. And then once they assimilate, they're stronger to go take other nations. Now we in their military fight enemies, but we they in. You see what I'm saying? They just control us to where it don't matter no more. Just like back then. That's why people don't even understand the Jews. The Jews was black because we was fighting their military. We was doing everything with them, and the history come out later. You don't even know that that black Israelites is who he's talking about when they say Gentiles. Like, that's the reason why. That's the start of it right here. Let's join on to them. Now you a Gentile, even though you're really an Israelite.
Ash, what you saying is so heavy, man. Give Ash the walk a hand. Let's go to that. Because you said that, I was gonna wait, Ash, but I think I'm gonna have to go into that precept. I think I'm gonna have to go into it now. You got what I asked for? 2 Maccabees 6-6.
Hachaanakah.
Read that from the level, Sean.
Hachaanakah. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Now, that became a time, right? But they didn't want us to keep Sabbath days. How can I say there was a time when their time is now? You try to get off on the Sabbath now, the oppressor gonna look at you like, huh? The oppressor gonna look at us the same way how the Pharaoh looked at us, Barzone. Moses went out there and asked for what, 3 days to serve our God in the wilderness? And Pharaoh was like, y'all niggas got too much time on y'all hands. Y'all got too much time on y'all hands. Guess what? Y'all about to work harder than that. You about to slave harder. Go and try to get a day off. Go to try to get a Sabbath off. They ain't gonna want to do it. They not. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, what's so heavy about that is I was battling somebody on Thanksgiving, and they was like, we can't just pick another day because everybody not gonna be able to get off. I said, well, in America is Egypt, and whoever run it is Pharaoh, and we the Jews. Because you can't even get a day off to go kick it with your people, even though we do it every year. We leave for the Passover.
Yeah.
We come back without a job. We just leave. You know what I'm saying? But in the world, I'm like, y'all think the pressure is so bad that you don't got no PTO. It sounds like you're working 67 hours a week. You should have some PTO. You see what I'm saying?
Brother, they made me sign like for this Saturday for the mission that we getting ready to do. You know what I mean? You know, for the northern tribes. I had to sign 3 forms just to get that PTO for that one day. The oppressor is the devil, the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
I'm like, God damn. I'm like, I just won one day. I'm like, I don't even have a call out. And I've been there 3 years. I don't even have a call out. If I do, it's probably one. You know what I mean? It's a rough day. I had to fight a bear in Hebrew Academy, you know what I mean? But that was justified. And I was back in the next day. Some of the brothers ain't making bars, though. let alone just take one day to go to sleep. Understand that. What Ash is saying is so heavy. He said, damn, you ain't got no PTO. That don't even matter. That don't matter. Hell, every time I put in, you know what I mean, the week for the Passover, they be like, well, do you have to take this week? You have to. I got to threaten them and say, yo, I'll come in here with a letter. You know what I mean? Documentation from, you know what I mean? Let them know, like, listen, deny me this week off and see what's going to happen. That's real. And you know what's crazy? Bars always hit me like a lightning bolt. That's real anti-Semitism. Right. That's real anti-Semitism. That's real oppression. That we can't even keep the Sabbath day. Read it again from the top,
Hachaanakah. The book of 2 Maccabees 6 and verse 6. Mm-hmm. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts.
Or ancient feasts. They don't want you to keep the Passover. They don't want you to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Feast of the Dedication, Hachaanakah, ancient feasts, no. Purim, you can forget about it. Keep going.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
To what?
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
You can't even profess yourself at all to be a Jew. I turn these TikTok comments around quite a lot. I'm like, you ain't no Jew, nigga. You ain't this. Meanwhile, the person, you know what I mean, that's telling me that I'm not a Jew is confused about their own identity. They sit down when they should stand up when they go to the bathroom. And they want to tell me that I'm not a Jew. When you can live in delusion. When reality is, you are what you were born, and the Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the Jews, the Israelites of old, of antiquity. That's the cold truth. That's the cold truth. And how do you know that you can't profess yourself to be a Jew? Look what they did to Kyrie. Oh, man, they said Kyrie home, quite the Zachariah. All Kyrie Irving did was retweet a link to his Twitter. But y'all rabbis in the chat can average 15 with Josh Giddey on and off the court. My bad, your rabbi likes him a little younger than 15, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But Josh Giddey, your rabbi, and the Pope all frequent the same middle school or elementary school. But you worried about me being a Jew. You need to worry about them kids. Right. That's what you need to worry about. Don't worry about us, we cool. Lord got us. That's why he raised up his prophets in 1969. That's why we're doing this job. They don't even want us to profess ourselves to be Jews, corrupt Allah. You imagine? Can you imagine? And they know the difference. They know that they're not the real Jews. And that's what's really, I'm gonna get to you in a second, what's really insulting to like my intelligence. You call yourselves Israelis and you call yourself Jewish. You're not a Maccabee. You're not a Jew. You're not an Israelite. I'm not an Israeli. I'm not Jewish. I'm the Jew, but with no ish. Drop the Eli. It's Yiddish. You know, it don't even sound right. Don't. You know what I mean? Just Israelite. Add that. Israelite. That's who we are. You came over there in that land in 1948. Cool. Like it was the Egyptian prince over there. I forget his name. He said it. He said after while the Jews left black and came back white. What is going on? Because you're not a Jew. You're not. We're speaking English because that is the language that most of us speak. Now, you're probably asking me this on TikTok because you want me to speak some Hebrew to you. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to speak a language that you understand. Atah lo Yehudi, Atah lo Jacob, Yatah Shetan, Yeraskilef, Edomikilef, Shantanikilef. You're the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's who you are. Understand that. Go do what you want with that information. That's who you are. Now, let's get back to First Maccabees. We'll call y'all Osterwalk and Quatazal. Y'all know what to do to that heckler. You can get the Thanos snap. As a matter of fact, I'll do it myself. I take pleasure in this. I do. See, Asher's merciful. He mute him. I get you up out of here. I see you in captivity.
Yeah, right.
All right. Let's go back to First Maccabees 1 and 11.
You say, sir?
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11. Let's go back there. Did you find that precept that I asked for, Makoyali?
Was it Second Maccabees 4 and 15?
Read that. I think that's it.
It says, the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 15. Not settling by
Yeah, that's it. Let's read First Maccabees 1 and 11 again, and then we're going to come back to that. That's it. Go ahead.
Somebody's got for a second, sir?
I don't have that. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked men came out of Israel those days. But we keep going.
Who persuaded many.
Who persuaded many. Keep going.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Let us go and make an agreement with the heathen. You know who else made an agreement with the heathen? I'm about to break some hearts out there, Bacardi. I'm about to go break some hearts. I'm brothers and sisters that have influence. And you can't be surprised that they do things like this. Look at Stephen A. Smith. You know, he's another brother that be talking mess, that talk a little blackety black, but you love your oppressor daddy. When it's time to tear down and sell out brothers, you do it. How do I know? How do I know? There was a brother by the name of Brandon Miller who plays for the Charlotte Hornets. And guess what? You and Malika Andrews demonized that brother. Demonized it on national television. But when Dana White, you know what I mean, gave his Edomite wife, because he's an Edomite, you know what I mean, a three-piece, you said he's my friend. And then you had the nerve when Jerry Jones said that if any one of my players, meaning any one of his niggas that slaved for him on that football field, we'll get into that too, take a knee, you fired. You call Jerry Jones your blood brother. Believe it or not, Stephen A., I'm your blood brother. I'm not your blood brother. Barzal, Bakar Yala, Karam Yala, Kwakazah, you know what I mean, Ashtawaka, these sisters here. We your blood brothers and sisters. We got the same father. We come from Israel, man. You a wicked Negro. But he ain't no different than Al Sharpton. He ain't no different than Jesse Jackson. He ain't no different than Geno Jennings and all the Negroes that you love so much. Like a lot of y'all, like with this Cam Newton and Charleston White bars, all like Charleston done told everybody. He said, I was a little community activist and everybody cared, but then I get out there and then I get a couple dollars, just help the community. Now I'm in this, I ain't gonna say the rest of his kids in there, but it's rough. He told you what he was about. They sell out for money. That's what they do. They don't stand on business. The only ones, you know who stood on business? Malachi stood on business. We're going to get to that. His son stood on business. The I.S.U.P.K under command of General Yahanna, we stand on business. Keep reading. Did we finish 11? No, keep reading. Keep reading 11, Bubba Show.
Hachaanakah, that are around about us. For since we departed from them, we have much sorrow.
We have had much sorrow. Now, we're going to come back to that. But, Corey, I'll read what you got.
The book of Maccabees, the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers. Meaning this, right? You don't want the honor that came with our fathers. These laws, statutes, and commandments. They don't want that. Read it again from the top.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers. Read.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
Like the glory of who?
Of the Grecians.
Of who?
Of the Grecians.
How do you like the glory of the Greeks? How do you like that? Omega Psi Phi. You'll do any. Okay. What is the words? Bakayali. You love the proclivities of your slave master. You'll even brand yourself. Some of you will even adorn yourself in purple and do the same thing and call yourself an Israelite when you're really a sodomite. Am I saying something, Barzal, that's not known? You can look at Frida and tell it's like he's had a few rides. Salaki. You can look at Nasty Nate. Salaki. Karam Yala. I'm just saying. They love the glory of the Greeks. Go ahead, Karam. Go ahead.
Much sorrow. Like all who left the truth. That's what happened. That's the first thing happened when you leave the truth. You say, when I was in the truth, I wasn't having all this problem. Then we go back into the world. Maybe my life might change.
Karam, but you saying it's so heavy, and I want to add to what you just said. Karam said that you may think by leaving the truth, things will get better. Life does not get better if you leave the truth. And I'm going to be very honest with what I'm about to say. You don't need, if you're a brother or a sister that feels as though that you need to fall back and not come around, that you may feel as though a brother may have wronged you or a sister may have wronged you, that's Satan talking to you. And the more you stay home, the more you let that demon beat you up, because that's what it's doing. That demon's beating you up. And you wondering why life is not getting better. You wondering why you're not progressing. Is because the Lord is trying to tell you something now. You got to come back around. You got to get rooted in this truth, man. Like, you can't think that I'm just going to fall back, take a few times. Nah, life is not going to get better. You leave this truth, you know what I mean, and not come around, guess what? Life is going to get worse for you. Worse for you. It will not improve. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. And if you really believe, you know what I mean, that things will get better, that you're better off, then guess what? You were never really with us to begin with. That's right. Don't be that brother. Don't be that sister. Don't be weak. Don't be a weak brother or sister. Now ain't the time for that. Let me tell you something. Mattathias was not a weak brother. Judas, his son, and his other sons were not weak brothers. They stood on business. They stood on it. And that's what you have to do. The water, Karam Yala, what you said was heavy, y'all. And it needs to be said. A lot of our people think that. You think, oh, my situation will improve if I just know. You're letting Satan defeat you. Don't let Satan defeat you. Because the next step is you're going to be wearing purple. You're going to be wearing, you know what I mean, the toga. You're going to be getting branded on the backside. More ways than one, Barzo. It's a rough situation. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, let's go back to Water Yala, to Water Karam Yala. Let's go back to 1 Maccabees 1 and verse 12.
Hachaanakah, verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13.
Oh, what is that device that pleased them well? I'll tell you. I talked about it a little bit ago. It's talking about, keep going, we'll get to it.
Hachaanakah, verse 12, verse 13. The servants of the people were so forward herein.
Listen, our people were so forward therein that when they got the device, when they got to learn and do the customs of the oppressor in Greece. Now, what was popular in Greek and Roman culture? What was popular? Might need to know a little history. That when things, what are some of the distractions that they will use for our people? We all fall victim to it. We all do. We all do. I'll explain. You get caught up, you know what I mean, in their arena. Oh, the Coliseum didn't go nowhere. Lincoln Financial Field, the Roman Coliseum. The Wachovia Center, Leocore Center, Madison Square Garden. There's no new thing under the sun. Keep going.
Hachaanakah. That they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Now, they went to the king and they gave him license to do the ordinances of the heathen. Now you do what the heathen do. And let me tell you something. The oppressor has something called the Olympics. And they still do it to this day. They call it their so-called battle with the gods. This is where Nike comes from. Nike is supposed to be the goddess of victory and all that other nonsense. Where you get to go out, everybody is trying to figure out who's Mr. or Mrs. Olympia, who's the best athlete, who's the best in this sport. Now, sports ain't unlawful, but it's like, goddamn, you got to do it under the oppressor. You got to play in the NBA, you got to play in the NFL, you got to play in the MLB. Because let me tell you something. Ain't nobody, y'all, let's be honest. If our people decided tomorrow to stop playing sports and we decided to make our own leagues, nobody would watch the NBA. Like Bacardi Allen, you gonna sit for 2 hours and watch Nikola Jokic play Luka Doncic in one-on-one? Like, goddamn, you gonna watch that? you gonna watch that? Like, no, you're not. You're not gonna watch it. Stop it. You gonna watch Joe Burrow play against Justin Herbert? You gonna watch them play against each other? Throw the ball back and forth to each other? You gonna watch that? No. You watch the game because we're in it. But we can play the game without them. Kyrie even made a notion there. Like, how come we don't have our own leagues and y'all shut him down? Like, goddamn. Keep going.
Hachaanakah. Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem.
Now, they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem. Now, that place of exercise, right? That's the Colosseum. Now it's in every major city. In every major city. And you know what they do? I'll tell you what they do. They name their sports teams after us and the likeness. Everybody's up in arms about what happened, you know what I mean, at Florida State University. But nobody is up in arms over the logo. The logo is a full Rubinite. Florida State Seminoles. Like, they use that. The Redskins, they call it the Commanders now, but look how long it took them to get the name changed, because y'all. The Blackhawks, they take the likeness of our people, you know what I mean, and just make a mockery of it and use it for the arena and use it for their own game. Now, you built a place of exercise in Jerusalem. Now you got the arena there. Now you got the Coliseum. Now you got entertainment. Keep going.
Hachaanakah, according to the custom of the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
They did what?
Made themselves uncircumcised.
They made themselves uncircumcised. Meaning this. They decided to forget about these laws, statutes, and commandments, and forget about our God. Keep going.
And forsook the holy covenant.
They forsook the holy covenant. They don't want to keep the commandments no more. They don't want to live this lifestyle that we lived in our culture. We talked about, Bacardi Allen read you the precept. Now you prefer the culture of the Greeks. Now you want to be Omega Psi Phi. Now you want to just be, what's them dancing movies y'all like? You know what I mean? With them niggas in the universities doing all that crazy nonsense. That's what y'all want. That's what you want. That's what you want to see. You get caught up in that. Keep going.
And joined themselves to the heathen.
And did what?
Joined themselves to the heathen.
And joined themselves to the heathens. Meaning they sold out. They sold out, and you shouldn't be surprised. You know how you know you shouldn't be surprised? Because there is no loyalty, especially in the world. Like, I brought up what happened with Kyrie Irving earlier, because what happened to him was insane. Everybody turned on him in the NBA. Nobody stood up for him. Nobody stood up for him. Like, you had Shaq talking mess, and it didn't surprise me. You know what I mean? That's the same brother. You know what I mean? They got down with Papa John after Papa John called us niggas. God damn. The CEO and owner of Papa John's Pizza got caught. You know what I mean? In one of those little Edomite meetings talking about, you know what I mean? They act like he was really upset about black people taking a knee at Colin Kaepernick in the NFL was protesting. So he was like, you would think, you know what I mean, that they'd be upset with Colonel Sanders. I ain't called him nigga the way he called them nigga. And then Papa John's, you know what I mean, the other people at Papa John's took Papa John's and Papa John's. And then Papa John's was on Twitter talking about it be your own niggas. That's a joke that went over their head quite a lot, but we right here with it. Get it, Papa John, taking it from Papa John, it be your own niggas. All right, no sweat. Stick to my day job of being a priest and prophet of the Lord. Now, you know what else did they decided to do with that rebrand? They decided to save face. Who could we go get to get people to get black people back on Papa John's side? You go get Shaq. You go get Shaq. You go get Charles Barkley. Didn't Steve Harvey say for enough money he'll dress like a monkey and make the noises? Didn't he say something like that? They'll sell out for money. They'll sell out. You know what I mean? It's not. You shouldn't be surprised. They all have a price. We don't have a price in here because we truly give a damn about our people. We're going to read about a brother that they tried to get to sell out, but he didn't because he stood on business. Now, let's go. Pick it up. Go to 1 Maccabees chapter 2. 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 1. Now, in those days arose Matthias, the son of John.
Mm-hmm. Now, in those days rose Matthias, who we're getting ready to read about. Matthias was a righteous brother, man. A righteous brother who gave a damn about our people. Keep reading.
The son of Simeon, a priest of the son of Joel, from Jerusalem and dwelt in Moab. Verse 2. And he had 5 sons. Joannan called Cadus, Simon called Basi. Verse 4. Judas, who was called Maccabeus. Verse 5. Eleazar called Amoran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Apis. Verse 6. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, verse 7.
He saw the what?
And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem.
Listen, he saw the blasphemies that was taking place in Jerusalem. Now, understand this. Matthias was a righteous man, a righteous brother, righteous priest. He's raising up his sons the right way. And you know what he sees now? He now sees, you know what I mean, the blasphemies that's going on in Jerusalem. He's now seeing it for himself. And he's like, God damn, like this is a rough situation. He's now seeing our people eating pork. He's now seeing our people, you know what I mean, taking on the customs of the Greeks. But Karyala just showed you the precept. Hey, Shalom, okay, you want to take it now, sir? Come. Now he's starting to see the different blasphemies that's going on right now. He's seeing our people in the Colosseum, seeing our people forsaking the covenant. You know what I mean? Which is a rough situation if you're a righteous man. Keep going.
Verse 7. He said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people?
He said, woe is me. Woe meaning destruction. Matthias said, man, destruction is me. That I have to see this, man. Matthias, you know what I mean, didn't even want to see this. And listen, it's heartbreaking to see. You know what I mean? To see our people destroyed like this under the foot of another nation. And it goes to show you just how evil and wicked the Uncle Toms and Uncle Tomahawks and Tomases of our nation are. Because they join themselves to these heathens. And you got a righteous man that is mourning, that is saying destruction is me, because he has to see what's going on with our people. He sees this. And you know who else knows that oppression is wrong? Look at the Palestinians. They understand that what oppression, what real oppression really is. That's why they're fighting back against Netanyahu, fighting back against the so-called Jew. And that's something we have to do. But our fight is different. We don't have to pick up arms. We don't got to go and get, you you know what I mean, makeshift, you know what I mean, aircraft bars all and hang glide over the dome. All we got to do is stop eating pork. All we got to do is stop eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. All we got to do is stop celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's. All we got to do is come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yahanna. That's what we have to do. Mattathias said, man, destruction is me. Wherefore I was born to see this misery of my people. Listen, man, Mattathias saw the misery of our people, man. It was like, damn, man, this is rough. Destruction is me, man. That's a righteous brother. Keep reading.
And of the holy city, and to dwell there.
And of the holy city, like I.S.U.P.K, like I'll never forget that day in class, man, when you showed that little documentary of what they doing in Tel Aviv right now. The proclivities that are going on in our land right now under the Alternative Lifestyle Coalition. It's terrible. Like it truly is. Like what we seeing, like imagine Mattathias seeing it, you know what I mean, firsthand. This is rough. Go ahead, Isupk.
Nah, if I could, what you bringing out so heavy, like this is see Edomites in our land having a full on high parade. Like full, like a whole, like people is, you know they flying in. And it's the only one in over there, period. Like it's just like there's another video I seen, like them even being over there, period. Some brothers was getting baptized, but upstream, it was some Edomites in the water. And they was getting baptized in the water down here. Like, you got Edomite water washing over you while you try to, like, it's disgusting, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to live in the land from back then, like, it disgusts us. Like, even from back then, it got to be way more disgusting to know that they over there in our land have properties just being disgusted over there.
Man, that's just nasty. Shalom, Capital. You went to class, sir? Listen, what I.S.U.P.K is saying is so heavy. It's heavy as hell. Can you imagine that? And that's what they doing right now. That's what they doing. They over there having alternative lifestyle festivals, all in their proclivities, Capital. And then in the same breath, want to talk about how they a Maccabee. They not. You just a nasty heathen. Nasty heathen. That's what you are. And Mattathias is seeing this, man, to see the misery of our people. When he understands something, he understands, man, like the misery that our people is going through right now, you know what I mean, ain't no different than what was going on back then. No different. And that's why we got to come out of that. Keep going, Bob.
When it was delivered into the hand of the enemy.
It was delivered unto who? That's heaven.
When it was delivered into the hand of the enemy.
When it was delivered unto the hand of the enemy. Mattathias understands that we have enemies. You don't view the Greek as your enemy. You don't view the Roman. You don't view Bob and Fred and Agatha as the enemy, and they are. They are our enemies. They're not our friends. The scripture said in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, in the 10th verse and the 16th verse on down to 17, to never trust thy enemy. That's the problem. You trust the oppressor. You do. You trust the oppressor. How do I know? You on the TikTok live right now, Black and Latino dropping Palestinian flags when our people suffer right here in America. Like, how can you be a brother from Harlem or the Bronx or from North or Southwest Philly and you dropping Palestinian flags? It ain't no different than what you was doing, you know what I mean, for the Ukraine. We getting ready to go down, you know what I mean, to New York. We getting ready to, you know what I mean, converge and take ground on New York to feed our people, man. To feed, you know what I mean, Issachar, to feed Naphtali, to feed Zebulon, man. Where they don't let our brothers and sisters live over here, man. They only want them to cross the border. 10 Mexicans can't cross the border all free and nilly, but 500,000 Ukrainians can. 500,000 Ukrainians can. Y'all let them march in single file lines, Columbia Island. 5 Haitians couldn't do that. Nobody wanted to go down there and help the tribe of Levi, man, when they was having that crisis down there, when they was getting whipped on horseback. Nobody went out there except for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. We're the ones that went out there for our people because we're the ones that give a damn. We saw the misery of our people and stood on business. While you do this here. Type it. Stop being the individualite. Stop being the simpleton. You got to get in all black. Like now is the time to get in the game. Stop playing games. Get in the game. Keep reading, Nightbot.
And the sanctuary into the hand of strangers.
And the sanctuary into the hand of strangers, man. Our land right now is in the hand of strangers. Keep reading.
Okay. Verse 8. Our temple is become as a man without glory.
Our temple has become a man without glory. Let me tell you something, man. Which is heavy. What's heavy about that? Temple becoming a man without glory. You understand, right? That right now, when you don't even understand the significance, you know what I mean, of the Dawadah or the menorah, because they took these things away. When we went into captivity, Columbia, the oppressor came and took all that. He came and took all the gold, took the menorah, took the Dawadahs. I mean, it was delivered unto them that hate us. They're the ones that hate us, man. And then they tell us, you know what I mean, that we're African American. They tell us, you know what I mean, that we're heathens, but we're none of those things. Keep going, Ibad.
Verse 8. Verse 9. Our glorious vessels are carried away into captivity.
I just brought that up. I literally just spoke about that. What are the glorious vessels? I tell you, the menorahs, the Dawadah, the gold, everything was carried away. They took it. They took it. Keep going. Keep reading, what's up, y'all?
Count God. Her infants are slain in the streets.
Listen, our babies were slain in the streets. Our babies. And that happens to this very day. You want us to feel sorry for everybody else. You want us to feel sorry for Palestine and Israel. I feel sorry for them Black, Latino, and First Nation babies, man. Because when you unalive our children, no one stands up. Our babies are in cages right now at the border. They find different, you know what I mean, boarding schools for the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben every day out there in North and South Dakota and Canada and all other places, man. They find different ones. And guess what? Nobody gives a damn. Nobody. That's why we have to understand, man, as the Lord's chosen people, we have to give a damn about our people. We have to. Because we're the only ones that are. Keep going.
Her young men with the sword of the enemy.
The young men with the sword of the enemy. Unaliving the young men, man. The soldiers amongst us. How do they do that now? I'll tell you. Carby breaking it down all the time. You know how many young brothers are locked down right now? You know how many young brothers are locked down that will never see the light of day because they encourage them to live this tumultuous lifestyle here in America, to live the lifestyle of a gangbanger, to live the lifestyle of a drug dealer, or what they promote, because they were persuaded. We read about this earlier, I bought in 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter, on down to the 11th, 15th verse, to where them wicked leaders of Israel persuaded many of our people, man, and tried to make it seem like this was the lifestyle that we have to live, that this is Tawab. Can't do that. Because our young men are being unalived in the streets. Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, man, Dante White, Sandra Bland, Vanessa Gilliam, Michael Brown. You know how many brothers? And Rashard Brooks. I can go on and on and on, man. On and on and on. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 10. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom?
Who? That's it. Can you read that again?
What nation have not had a part in her kingdom?
Meaning this, man. These heathens come together on us. They do. You think they are? They think you think they're your friends. They can't stand us, man. They can't stand us. Keep going.
And gotten of her spoils.
And gotten of their spoil. Everybody eats off of us. How do you know that everybody eats off of us? Now, me and the car, we're from Southwest Philly. And it was rough where we grew up at. On every block, every corner, you'll find what? You'll find Moab. You'll find their businesses. I'm pretty sure you'll find it in North Philly, right, Barzo? Karumial, I'm pretty sure you'll find that over there in the West Indian Islands in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm pretty sure you'll find that in Trenton, New Jersey. All of these different nations take of the spoils of us. They make tens of thousands of dollars a week off of our people, making big money. Be short 50 cents. You're not getting that Tom and Jerry. It ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna be no 10 minutes. Ain't gonna be none of that. Be short $1. Be short a quarter. No. What nation didn't take of our spoil? And listen, and the Arabs ain't excused from that. You're not excused from it neither. The Arabs built the slave ships. The Africans rounded us up, and then they sold us to the oppressor. Y'all not absolved. Y'all all had a hand in the spoils. This man in Revelation, they all in bed. They all drunk the wine of America. They all did. And they're all going to pay for it. Now, bye-bye. Let's drop down. Drop down to verse 13. Verse 14. Drop down to verse 14, Bob. Matter of fact, Nicole, can you pick it up? First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 14. First Maccabees 2 and verse 14.
Come. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 14. Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth.
Now, they rent their clothes and put on sackcloth. Man, they started, you know what I mean, to mourn. They started to pray. Read.
Hachaanakah, and mourn very sore.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt.
Now, the king's officers, keep that in mind. Now, this heathen king Antiochus, his officers, you know what I mean, compelled the people to revolt. Keep going.
Hachaanakah came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16, and when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17, they answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias.
Now, they came to Mattathias. Why did they come to Mattathias? Mattathias is a righteous leader amongst our people. He's a priest. They came on to Mattathias, the king's officers. Keep going. Let's find out what they wanted to talk to him about.
Hachaanakah. They answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city.
They knew that Mattathias was a ruler and an honorable and great man. They understood that. Now, keep in mind, we read about this in First Maccabees chapter 1, in the first chapter, about how the wicked amongst our people persuaded many. Now the king's officers, they're coming to Mattathias. They're like, hold on, man. They coming to Mattathias and like, listen, brother, now we know you are a ruler. You know what I mean? We know you are an honorable man. It's like, yeah, come on. I'm gonna slide the left. Kind of. Now they understand something, right? They understood something. They came to him and said, this is an honorable man. You're an honorable brother. Trying to persuade him, trying to beguile him. Okay, come on. I was finished, sir.
Okay, both sides Christ, man. You die your hand, man. Hey, y'all read that scripture one more time. Come, please.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 16. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in himself.
Go ahead.
God, and strengthened with sons and brethren.
And stop right there. Like, this is always the tactic that our enemies use to destroy us as a people. You understand? They've done it so many times, especially here in the Apocrypha, and that's what you're seeing out in that world. When you see the rich and you see these athletes, these entertainers, the ones that our people look up to. That's all. This is what our oppressor has done in this kingdom is an ancient tactic that he's always used to destroy us as a nation. He always goes to the brother who the community respects. Always goes to the brother who has influence among the people. You understand? When you see a black man or Hispanic man or Native American Indian, they got a family full of sons and brothers, you know that's a strong, solid family. You understand what I'm saying? It's a little bit different comparison when you see a man that got a lot of daughters and stuff like that, meaning his family is as honorable and blessed also. But when you see a man who got sons, you understand what I'm saying? Sons and brothers, and his brothers have sons, you see that that's a strong family. And you see the power and the potential of that. Here you go out. And you see the power and the potential of that family dynamic. It's always been the tactic of our enemies to try to seduce men like that. To seduce men like that. Why? Because the brothers that look up to that brother, you understand? The men that look up to him, that love him and follow him, what they gonna do? They gonna follow suit. That's what you see out there in that world. Those rappers and entertainers, that's why it's so evil. It's so evil when they give into the lust of this world. I always like to pick out that Dwayne Wade. He's a disgusting cat out. I can't stand it. You understand what I'm saying? Because as an athlete, how many young brothers from the ghetto who want to play basketball and use basketball as a way out of their hell in their environment? It's either that or drugs. Football, basketball, or drugs. You understand? Or gangs. You understand? And on top of that, what do they also lack? These young men also lack that choose athletics and choose sports as a release of them from their hell and their condition. What also do they lack in their home? Look at that young brother right there behind you. Do you know? Damn right. Get that brother a hand. They lack fathers. They lack fathers. You understand? And listen, listen, when you read the Bible, I'm good. When you read the Bible, try not to think, oh, this was long time ago. The same thing that's happening to us in our households in 2023 was the same things happening here to Mattathias, and he's seeing it. It's young black brothers that ain't got no father. How do you know? Because we've been through wars and captivities. That's how you know. Just like here, while we are in America. We've been through wars and captivities. So they are, and you have scriptures all throughout the Bible about brothers defending the fatherless. We've always had these troubles. You understand? And our oppressors always come to the brother who has somehow kept his family together. Why? Because he obeyed the Lord. Right. Read.
Verse 18. Now therefore come thou first.
Read a little louder, Baba Kasha.
Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment.
Listen, man, they ain't slick. Right. He said, man, come down here first, man. So you gotta get that one brother. Just get that one brother, and everybody start following suit. That's what you see all over the internet. Soon as one person there, a brother that look up to, that look like he's got some strength in him, everybody follow. Everybody follow. That's why a lot of cats in Islam, I don't know if y'all follow rap. I still follow the rap a little bit. Salakia. I mean, I need to cut it out. That's why that whole cat don't know about Rollo. He just got out because he's a jailbird. He's found, Islam in jail because he's a jailbird and sells heroin like the Muslims did back in the 60s. Right. You understand? But to show that type of strength, to show that his whole community followed him. This whole apartment complex, I forget what they call a Little Baghdad or a little something over there in Atlanta, Georgia. Follow this cat in the Arab religion. That's what you're seeing here. Right. And a lot of men do that. Most importantly, your leaders. Your leaders. They do that. They follow the king's commandment instead of the Lord's commandment. They enforce what your society enforces instead of enforcing what the Lord enforces in your homes. This is about your leaders, and this is what you're seeing out here today. And that's why the Feast of Dedication is so important. It's so important. It shows you it shows you that if Mattathias, and later on in the chapters of Mattathias, of course, they got, you know what I mean? The weakness comes, but we're not there yet. We're here when he's still full of zeal and has the Holy Spirit to not betray, most importantly, his power and then his people.
Right.
Keep reading.
Like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
So shalt thou in thy house be in the number of the king's family.
Read a little louder.
Come. So shalt thou in thy house be in the number of the king's family.
So what is he saying there? So shalt thou and thy number shall be in the king's family. What is he saying? What is he saying there? He's saying, come down, fulfill the commandment of the king, so that you and thy number shall be with the king's family. What is he saying there? Go ahead. Say it again. All right, read it with friends in it. Let's get somebody else to read. You understand? Since you're eating, somebody else pick up that chapter for me.
No, I got it, sir.
All right, let's go.
And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
Where's the one where it said the friend's family? Read that part again.
So shalt thou and thy house be in the numbers of the king's friends.
Right, so you should be in the number of the king's friends. So that's basically what he's saying. You come serve me, you're going to be friends with me. That's why you see all them cats. And I know, like, in your minds, just picture all the Israelites, the famous and the rich, that's hugged up with white people. It was one about a little baby a month ago, looked like he was getting molested by a white man at some party. I don't know if y'all seen that one. It's on TikTok. Oh, it's a lot. You said, okay. Listen, the TikTok rule, I'm still getting the equivalent shop on the TikTok rule. So I'm going to get that to your diet. Keep the TikTok nice and strong, because I'm still trying, figure that out. You understand? But who else? Look, young man, you can just imagine all the cats. P. Diddy. He going through hell right now. P. Diddy Puff Daddy going to turn into the next Bill Cosby. Excuse me, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. And think about it. And think about this too. And this should show you also the witchcraft and what they're doing. Those men like Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Puff Daddy, they've done exactly what they said to do here. Serve the king. You'll be the king's friends. But what you have to know is your lust, he's not going to be able to protect you from that. Once you get the power and become the king's friends, your lust, because you disobeyed the Lord and served the king anyway. So now what have you done? You multiplying your lust. Now you serving yourself, and you're not going to be able to be delivered from that. The king not going to be able to deliver you from that. You may serve him, you may obey him, but once you start serving your lust more and more and more, and now you molesting women, gang raping women, having underage sex with women, the king is not going to be able to protect you from that. Matter of fact, he's going to persecute you for it. He's going to forget about all the times you served him. You understand? Which goes to show you should always stand with the Most High, man. Right. You always stand with the Most High. Right. All right, keep reading.
If I could,
go ahead, please.
What you're saying, sir, is so heavy, and that is such an old tactic that these heathens use. Because an excellent example to use is Daniel. They came at Daniel the same way. And Daniel had a high office up there under Nebuchadnezzar and Darius, when Darius was a ruler over Babylon with the Persians and the Medes. And they made a decree where if you serve your God, you go into the lion's den. And Daniel disregarded that. Daniel stood on business. And they came at him. They came at him the same way they coming at Mattathias, and Daniel stood on it. He did not sell out. So like a cat. That was
Most High Christ. And that's also another, I want to say another heavy point you bringing out, in that Daniel chose death over being weak and serving his enemies. He chose death. And the fact that he chose death, his power is the Lord over death. Right. And he didn't die, even in the den for the lions. And he still didn't die. Even though he chose death, the Lord protected him. And we always got to remember that, man. And sometimes this will happen. Like here, Mattathias, he's zealous, courageous for the laws of the Lord. But time sometimes will weigh on you, the pressure. We in them times now. Lord allow Christ come soon. You understand? But we're going to spend this time in here. We got to constantly rededicate ourselves to the Lord and to the Most High, man. Just like the Lord have us rededicate this temple. You know what I'm saying? Somebody give me the scripture where it says you are the temple. Give me that real quick. And keep reading that scripture. Nikhil Salak, you had your hand raised? You want to say something for it?
Yeah, if I could, sir, like what you're saying, because like that's what separates us from the other nations.
Damn right.
Like with our foundation, it builds us up to only fear the Lord. And what happens is because we fear the Lord, we keep the commandments of God.
Right.
We're not doing wrong. You know, we get in the counseling that we need. We study it. We're perfecting ourselves. So when these other people, when these white people, when these other nations see us, like today, we're laughing stock.
Right.
You know, we as a people, we are laughing stock. We are the butt of jokes around white people in these other nations. But it shouldn't have to be that way. And that's why everything that we try to go into, so-called spirituality, these religions, it all makes us more and more laughing stock.
Right, exactly. That's damn right. Keep reading on that, Baba Kasha.
I have that precept too, Cat.
I hold it for me.
Come.
Hey, do we got a microphone to pass around here?
18. Now therefore, come down first and fulfill the king's commandment.
Go ahead.
Like as all the heathen has done here, and the men of Judah also, such as remain at Jerusalem. So shall thou and thy house be the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be covered with silver and gold and many rewards.
Right, make you rich. Make you rich. That silver and that gold and all that, he make you rich. All right, but all of that is temporary. You must understand that, and that's the lust all over social media. Is that you can get money doing this. You can get money doing this. Real quick side note: if you watching them TikToks and they start pointing at them things you can make free money with, doing this and that, that's the scam. All right, just to let y'all know. I know y'all done tried. I have got that. They got me. The ones where they say they pointing and bobbing like that, them. That is how they making the money doing this here. Get you to go on them sites that don't exist. Right? Because that's the whole lust of this place, man. To get rich, to become powerful, and to do this. And listen, they've done it in ancient times, man.
Right.
They've done it in ancient times. They just put all the gold and all the silver and all the diamonds and draped them on people who have forsaken the laws of the Lord. I mean, look at I just can't use it more than enough because it's all over social media with the sexy red, bro. Right. I mean, she is filthy rich for rapping about. Y'all know what she rap about. Yeah. All right, and they always do that. And look at how many other sisters have fallen into the same trap just to get the diamonds and the jewels. And I guarantee you, that sexy red come from a horrible life. That zone she in, that she from in St. Louis, that's a horrible place, man. And you take a sister like that who's starving and desperate and has a child over there, and you say, well, we give you millions of dollars to whoop and Jules, she'll rap about her insides until they fall out of body. You understand? But to stand on principles, to stand on the Lord's laws, that's what we about in here.
Right.
That's what we about in One West. And that's what Mattathias and his sons are going to stand on. The laws of the Most High. Keep reading.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. No, all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments.
They all traitors, even the heathens. Like when you see these heathens over here, them Chinese and Arabs and all that, they over here, they done gave away all that, man.
God.
They come over here and serve and be a part of the horde of America. They gave away the religions and the beliefs of their fathers, man. You understand? Which make us so special.
God.
You have to embed that in your children. These next generation of One West soldiers, you got to embed it in them, man.
Right.
Because God forbid it that if we are not here another 100 years out. God forbid if we here another long time, man. Then it's the youth that have to carry this truth on out.
Right.
Like this truth ain't never been no game. It ain't never been no joke. So you got to embed this and instill this in your children. And that's why he said it here. He said they done gave away the religion of their forefathers. We can't give up ours. Because if we give up ours, then what our sons going to do, man? Mm-hmm. Imagine 100 years, Salakia, God forbid, we still hear the type of evil that's going to go on outside them doors, huh? Like, I can't even fathom what's going to be going on out there, man. People going to be walking around the streets naked, having sex on the corner. Oh, man, just imagine what's going to go on in this place, man. You understand? So we have to embed it in our children, man, to uphold the laws that we pass down to them, man.
Right.
And I commend all you brothers and sisters, give you a hand for bringing your children here, bringing your sons and your daughters in here, man. Meanwhile, our people that gave away all the was always hardcore holidays. Things that I like. Things is like about war and killing and going to work, putting in work for the Lord. They about to give all that up to celebrate some filthy reindeer coming on your roof with some white man eating all your snacks. Coming down your chimney, eating all your snacks. Fat, drunk white man coming down your chimneys. Don't mean nothing, ain't real. And you understand. And we making them all rich by buying all their products and consuming everything they have, man. Keep reading.
Verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
Keep reading. Keep reading.
Verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance.
Once again, this is Mattathias' reply. He said, man, we're going to keep the laws for our forefathers, me and my brother. That's what he's telling the cat. You understand? And that's how mighty we are when we stand in the streets and say it. We on social media and we say it. When we say it to their face, we're going to stand on these laws. We see them being rich. We see them draped with diamonds and hold money to their ear, but we're not celebrating no Christmas.
Right.
You can forget that. We're not celebrating no Christmas. We ain't doing the whole New Year's. We ain't doing none of that garbage, man. Me or my house.
Right.
Keep reading. That's right. So, like, one last thing, if I could say, right? As you get older in this truth, also, that's who they going after. You understand? Because the more and more you fight for this truth, you see that they're getting the children, and they say it's about the kids, but it is about the kids. Because once they're getting it for your kids, so they can forget about all the hell that they put us through for your children. That's why it is about the kids. So when you hear somebody say, oh, no, I don't believe in Christmas, it's about the kids. Yeah, it is about your child. Right. They are trying to take your child. How is it that they put you in hell and poverty and you buy all these gifts for your child to turn on the laws of your fathers?
Right.
That's why they're after your kids. That's why it is. It's all for the kids. Christmas for the kids, Thanksgiving for the kids, Halloween is for the kids to destroy your child so they will always follow the king's commandments instead of God's commandments.
Right.
That's what it's about. So that's why you got to protect your kids, man. You got to protect your kids. That's why all them flashing lights and reindeers, all that look fun for children, man. When they see it, they see the lights and the reindeer, they're like, man, what is this Christmas shit? Excuse my language. What is this Christmas?
Right.
You understand? And imagine the warfare you got to put child like, nah, all that is evil. Don't touch that. We ain't doing that in here. I be able to keep out. First of all, these kids don't never go to school anyway. Then when they in the school, it's the holiday.
Yeah.
So they halfway not in school. Then when the holiday come, I say they not going.
Right.
Keep them home. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they don't be seduced with this garbage, man. Keep reading.
Looks like I think.
Oh, Nicole, you had something? Go ahead, Ward.
And after the call, I think I should walk.
I would bring this, what you're talking about, I would bring this up in a lot of conversations, you know, about that. Like, we cannot allow, in the Black, Hispanic, Native American community, we allow white people to teach us about history. And when they come home, it's do your homework, you understand, and they don't get no lesson about their heritage.
Right.
So you let the white man teach them. Now your child is just gonna know what happened back in the American war.
That's it.
That we were slaves. But if you Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans, man, we supposed to be teaching our children, like you said, what our fathers passed down.
Damn right.
You know, and this knowledge, you know, this ain't been passed down with just hugs and kisses. It's blood on this Bible so that we can be able to have this knowledge. And the Most High made it so. And touch on one thing, and I went ahead. You made us something heavy about the future. If Christ don't come back, it is, like the scripture says, it's high time to wake up.
Right.
Because you can be out here wanting to be for the streets. You can be in the streets. You can do whatever type of lifestyle you want to live. Your children is going to show you that you are a horrible parent. You understand? That you're a horrible parent, and all that money you spent, all them birthdays and them Christmases.
Come on.
All those things that you did for them kids.
Come on.
Was nothing. It was in vain.
Listen, think of how many white friends T.I. got. And his son shamed him. I'm talking about shaming. I wouldn't have been able to take that. I wouldn't have been able to do that. That's a rough one. You done gave that little boy everything.
Right.
You done gave him everything. You understand? He turned, like, listen, you done served the Christmas. You done gave him Thanksgiving. That little boy ain't lived in the environments that T.I. ever was lived in. Ain't had to do the things he had to do, all that. Kept that little boy safe. Had the more opportunities than the average brother ever. And still turn around and say, you can't. I really know you. I really know. I would have been like, man, I would have lost my mind. You understand? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you another reason why he choked him. Because he do know things about his father that the world don't know. Because your child is close to you out there. Your child is with you, and he watch you. You understand? He watch you when you're not thinking he watching, and he know you. He do know you. But God damn. You know why? But you know why that happened? Because T.I.'s son wants to be friends with the king. Right. He wants to be friends with this society. And you can see it all over his face when he do them interviews. Like, he just happy to be there and have the attention. You understand? To have the attention and the clout. You can see it on him. You understand? Instead of a son being solid and say, man, I would never do that to my father, man. Would never do that to my father. That's what's going on. Oscar Walker, you said Oscar Walker is something you want to say? You ever wanted to say something?
Now, if I could, you definitely did the lecture, you know what I'm saying, on them, making sure they destroy our family.
Most times.
And what's heavy about what you just said is that when you really look at it and you really get into it, and you look at the programming that's coming out, the LGBTQ, and them pushing that on the kids is the updated version of the program, because some of us in corporate broken homes, we made it our mission to make sure our homes not broken and that we marry our own women and our own men. It's people that's like that that's in the world.
Right.
But now they got the LGBTQ, and they push that on the kids. That's why the rainbows and the parades, and they put them up in the school. So when you really look at it, your child will go to school and somebody gonna have two dads or two moms. Exactly. And then they gonna send them into school and show all that fun and everything in front of your child. So when your child get older, they can't even differentiate or try to make a family. Now the family is destroying itself on another level. We might have put a lot of the drugs down. Decide we was gonna make families, but then you gonna raise kids is gonna decide, you know what? Men and women not getting along. I'm just gonna go marry a man. Or men and women not getting along. I'm just gonna marry a woman. Right. That's gonna just keep destroying the next generation. That was heavy what you was saying.
Old time question. Give that brother a hand. Old time question. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 22. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
Go ahead. Which means no, he refused. Keep reading.
Hachaanakah, verse 23. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all the sacrifices on the altar, which was at Modin,
Right.
according to the king's commandment.
Keep reading.
Verse 24.
Speaking to the mic too.
Hachaanakah.
You got it a little too close to your face. My face right now.
Oh, yeah.
A little too close to you.
This good?
Yeah, it should be.
Hachaanakah. Which thing, when Zedekiah saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
He was what?
Inflamed with zeal.
He was what?
Inflamed with zeal.
That's what I want right there. Like, I want to be inflamed with zeal.
Hachaanakah.
Like what does that feel like? You
Hachaanakah.
understand? I've had zeal, but I want to be inflamed with zeal. You understand what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level. You understand? That's a whole nother level. He said he was inflamed with zeal. Because after you say something righteous like that,
Right.
because why? The brother heard it.
Hachaanakah.
The brother heard him be like, nah, I ain't doing that. My house ain't doing that. We gonna serve our forefathers. We ain't doing none of the laws of the king. And here come this silly, grimy, stupid, money-hungry, pork-eating Negro. Look, and walked past and probably looked you in the face
Hachaanakah.
and got down and did whatever he wanted him to do. And he was inflamed with zeal. You understand? Keep reading.
Hachaanakah. Which thing, when Zedekiah saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled.
He said his reins trembled out. It's like something go through you. Like that's the spirit of the Lord out. Like I want that. You understand? I want that. In these last days, I want that. Me, myself. You understand? That's what I want. He said his reins tremble. Like you see the unrighteousness of the earth. And it's like, man, I cannot wait till we get to put our hands on these cats, man. Like I just can't wait. I just can't wait till the day we get to get power. And everybody think they so tough. We get to really be tough. You understand? We get to really show them where the last gangsters is at. Like General Muhammad said, we the last gangsters. And listen, when we walk in the rooms and restaurants, listen, me and Y.A.H.N.Na, big up to Y.A.H.N.Na, came from North Carolina, man. He always been. You understand? Me and Y.A.H.N.Na go over, walk up in the restaurant. The whole restaurant, everybody stop cooking. I got Y.A.H.N.Na walking behind me. They don't even give a damn about me. They scooping the scoop. Everybody stop scooping. All the lines stop. Everybody look around because they know that we the last G's on this earth, man. But what's heavy about it is that it's not because we sell drugs. It's not because we murder our own. It's not because we make whores out of our sisters. You understand? It's because we stand on these laws. We stand on these morals. And we down for each other, man. But Salaki, go ahead.
What you saying, Cap, is so heavy. The car, you was there. You was there. You remember when we went to Jacksonville, Florida for Hebrew Academy? When we was coming to Cocoa Beach? We stopped at this little brunch spot for Edomites. You know what I mean? So it was myself, Zarwa, in the car, and Hayah. And we walk in there, and literally everybody in the brunch spot just turned and looked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it like all eyes was on us. And it was like one brother who was a cook, and he turned and he dabbed us up. You know what I mean? He knew what it was. Like, it was amazing because they know who we are and they understand. Like what Captain Nakar was saying, it's so heavy. We're the ones who really stand on business.
That's right.
That's why they came to Mattathias, because they thought he was going to fold. They even came to him and tried to entice him, saying, you know, you'll be one of the king's friends. You see Steve Harvey, you see Shaq, you see Charles Barkley. They gave it up. They took the money. What about you? Where you like, no, it ain't enough money. I'm going to stand on my father's business. That's how we have to be. You don't think they came to Commander General Yohanna? They came to Commander General Yohanna in the 80s, the so-called Jew. Came to him when I think he was with Chief Air Priest Ariel. They came to him with a suitcase full of money and was talking about stop teaching this truth. And they said, La'ah, Amalek. La'ah. And continued to teach out there. That's how you stand on business.
Damn right.
Not what T.I. is doing, not what Boozy is doing, not what your favorite rapper is doing. It's what the priests and prophets of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge have been doing since 1969. That's all. That's all I can say.
Go ahead, keep reading.
And his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment.
Go ahead.
Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
Got him out of there. got him out of there. And it's examples of that all over the Bible. When we came out the wilderness and Moses laying it down, and we seeing the plagues of Egypt laying it down. And this silly cat called Young Jesus. Young Jesus walked through the camp with a Chinese woman. You understand? After Moses laid the Lord down, seen the Red Sea split and all of that, and he come, Young Jesus, he come with some Chinese broad in the middle of the camp. Brother come and skewer them both. And here, it's so many righteous acts like that. You understand? I pray one day I get the time to do it. You understand? And same way with Mattathias here. And the same way he doing it is what we doing out there. That's why the Lord said you go to war with principalities. You understand? With principalities. The principle is in society. That's what we do out there in the streets. That's what we do on the social media. Go ahead.
Right, so you use the javelin to do it too.
Damn right. You understand? Hit him with the javelin. You understand? That's what we doing out here with these wars. The homosexuality, the drugs, the criminality, all of that. We going to war with it. The same way Mattathias, his reigns tremble, our reigns should tremble when we see that now amongst our people. We should see it. Keep reading.
Verse 25. Also, the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice.
Like you out of here too. I mean, like I said, no, you ain't gonna ask nobody else. You ain't gonna ask nobody else. Like this, that's real. Stand on the Lord. What the Lord say, put down, man. Like that was the Holy Spirit that came on that brother. And this is why it's so powerful. Because just like when men fall weak and they languish and they start to do the things that our enemies do and the other nations do, it's spread. It's spread all over. But when men stand on righteousness and do what must be done to secure our nation and our families, that's gonna spread also. That's what spread also. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that interview with that cat Charleston White. You understand that whole character? He did some interview and he said some things that I know he got from Commander GEN.YAHANNA. I know y'all sitting there like Charleston White dropped the heavy. No, the hell he didn't. He watched The Grill is what he doing. Watch Black Watch. That's his problem. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I had to get the hell up. I couldn't do it neither. When he gazed into the TV and said black people, I said, I'm done with this shit. I had to turn it off. I couldn't deal with it now. Because I know that he's observing righteous men. You understand? I know he listened to Commander GEN.YAHANNA and GEN.YAHANNA, and he's heard the things we said. I did also hear him say, well, I can't hate white people though. Did you hear him say that?
Oh, he did say that.
In the interview, I heard him. He said he can't hate white people. But, however, the righteousness that we spewing in this earth, it will spread. And you'll start to hear more and more cats in their own mouth or in their own type of way try to recycle what we say and say it. You understand? Because they know what we say is right. Like, it's going to spread. That's why we have to stand on this righteousness. Even in the times we don't look like our people, it's like, this shit gonna be impossible. Excuse my language. You look at that social media and it's like, how in the hell we gonna get him to stop eating pork? How? You know what I'm saying? Look at this cat. You understand? Look at the women. How in the hell is you gonna stop having these cats? It's like what are we gonna do? Even in them times, we gotta stand on it. Stand on this righteousness. Go ahead.
Good. So like it's been like the recent events. That's like what you were saying. Like I feel the same way too. I'm looking on the ground. I'm like, dang, like how we gonna get this dude from stop popping pills? But the thing is, the Most High is working on a whole nother level. Like when that whole COVID-19 thing happened, people hitting our phone up. You got Kanye West started actually saying something that was actually correct. Kyrie Irving, these type of events. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is like, He working.
If I may, what you're saying is right. These are the type of opportunities that we must seize.
Right.
We must seize these opportunities. Understand? Keep reading.
Verse 25. Also, the king's commissioner who compelled them to sacrifice killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Verse 26, thus doth he zealously for the law of God like a
Like as go ahead, keep reading.
Like as Titus did unto Zambri, the son of Salam.
Damn right.
Verse
So
27.
just stop right there. So basically, he's saying he tore down the altar after he killed the brother and killed the messenger of the king. He tore down the altar, man, and him and his sons, they went to war. They went on a victorious. They went on a glorious war. You had another scripture you wanted to pull?
Come on. Can somebody get 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and start at verse 50?
You understand? And just real quick, if somebody could call the scripture out about your body being the temple, there's one thing I wanted to bring out about that. Because that's what the Feast of Dedication is about. You see, the brothers did an excellent job at decorating the school. Get the brothers and everything.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? This is a bad manure. You know what I mean? Everything going on. Got the tribes up. It looks good in here. You understand? That's what the rededication is about. It's making the Lord's house more glorious and more glorious for the, I mean, what is it, 7 days?
Come on.
For 8 days. We just come in the temple and clean it and make it look good and make it shine. You understand? Go ahead and pull that scripture forward.
Come on. I got it, sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 19. What know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit?
So while we in this hell also, your body the temple of the Holy Spirit. So you rededicate yourself to the Lord, man. You got to purge out those things that's keeping you from becoming your higher self in this truth, man. Like we all have to strive in here to make ourselves to be the fullest soldier that the Lord intended us to be. That's what it's going to take for us to get out of this hell, man. That's what it's going to take for us to come together and be able to build this nation that's been broken by all the society's drugs, the laws, the system, everything, man. That's what it's going to take. You're going to have to dedicate yourself to this truth and rededicate yourself to this truth every day.
Right.
That's what you're going to have to do. Brothers and sisters, too. Like, let me tell you something. Salaki, pick up the Captain Yakazak, man. We was down in Austin. And we went to pick up the Captain Yakazak, man. We down in Austin. They had some networking event where it was all sisters in there. They CEOs, running like chains and T-Mobile stores. Like that's the sisters. Like that's how y'all have to lock into this thing. Like it's way like in the same way in the corporate world. Like they will raise up a black woman and make her a CEO. Won't give a brother that advantage, but they will fill her head up with this with the garbage. With the king's laws, they fill their head up with the LGBT and the women's rights and all the love everybody and all that.
Right.
You understand? Our sisters in a position to really hand down some contracts to the manpower. Like that's what y'all can do. Like y'all in great opportunity, all you sisters to go to colleges and get them degrees and go to school and doing this and doing that. Go get them contracts so I can take all these brothers out here and we go in the field and do a mission that you ain't never heard before. You know I got them missions. I got them serious missions. We be knocking down brick walls all day. Ask Daniel, we be knocking down brick walls. Go get them contracts so we can go and do what we got to do to make this money. Y'all can do it. Y'all go in there, get fly, dressed up, wrap your hair up, and go in there and lie to them devils so you can come back to one of the priests and say, I got this one, this one, this one, this one. That's y'all mission there. Taking care of these kids so the soldiers go out and do that work. You understand? Like we're in a position to be able to do this and handle this together. What scripture we at?
1 Maccabees 4. 4 verse 52.
Go ahead. I'm trying to tell you. That's how they got to do it.
And that's why it's so important. This right here, this piece day is so very important. Because how else is the sister going to change herself without dedicating herself to the Lord?
Damn right.
In this society, where everything is against her. Everything is against her to take her on as Esau's own, man.
Right.
Everything is fighting against this. It's her.
Damn right.
So how else is she going to change and get new positions? Or else, like them sisters you that you were talking about, in the T-Mobile and all these businesses, they done dedicated their life to T-Mobile and to them businesses. They done dedicated their
exactly
to this society. So of course they're going to benefit you get fruit.
Damn
you know
right.
what I mean? Like this is so heavy. And let me ask you something. Don't ask everybody something. Who knows why it's so important? Why the Lord, and he was bringing out earlier how we fight against principalities, we fight against this, fight against that. And I know brothers heard it all the time. That U.P.K, y'all hate everybody.
Right.
Y'all go to war with everybody. Why is that? Anybody know? Anybody know why we go to war against everything? Everything in this society. Go ahead.
Right, because everything in this society is at war with us.
You're right. You're all the way right, but it goes even further. Give me Exodus 34:14 right quick.
Come.
You want to come up, Cap?
No, I ain't even driving off slavery slot. You can go ahead. But yeah, it's even a even deeper reason, and it's even simpler too. It's simple. Let me know when you get it.
Hachaanakah. Exodus chapter 34, verse 14. For thou shalt worship no other God.
You got the young brother, what's his name, King T.I.'s son? He worships the street. He grew up wealthy. Wealthy. You understand? Like that. He had things and lived a life that we could only dream about, being poor brothers and sisters in the ghetto. He lived a different type of life. But what does he want? He's dedicated to the streets.
Right.
You got sisters on the internet, half naked, dedicated to OnlyFans.
Right.
You got brothers out here dedicated to dope. You got brothers and sisters out here dedicated to the hood, dedicated to everything else. But the Lord wants one thing. He wants one thing. Go ahead, keep reading.
Hachaanakah. Whose name is jealous.
He's what?
For whose name is jealous.
You wonder why we battle against principalities and the things of this world? Because the Lord is jealous.
Right.
The Lord see how you'll give your life for a corner. The Lord see how you'll give your blood and your children for a drug, man. So the Lord said, you know what? You worshiping that drug. You worshiping the streets. You worshiping the holy faith. You worshiping this, that, and the third. I'm jealous. I want that worship. You better rededicate yourself to serve the Lord, because you dedicate yourself to everything else out here. Why not come and serve the Most High, man? God drop it. Slide.
Get that.
First Maccabee. Somebody get First Maccabee chapter 4 verse 52.
We got some coffee. We got some coffee right here. We got some coffee.
Not ready.
If you don't mind.
This First Maccabee chapter 4, verse 52. Now on the 5 and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Hachaanakah, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, verse 53, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citharings and harps and cymbals. Verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. Verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness. And sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. Verse 57. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold.
So now this they basically describing how they redecorated the temple. Because of course the heathens, our enemies, came in and started sacrificing unclean animals, like most important that pork.
Right.
You understand, that swine, dogs, and things like that. So we came, wiped all that out. Now they're describing how they put the gold in the front of the temple. You understand? And what we do, we rehearse the righteous acts. That's what we do. That's how powerful what we're doing here in this room. You understand? And never ever look outside these doors and see, the rich and all of their wealth and all of the things that they have that shine, and think that what we have in here is less important. That's why the Lord says, I know thy tribulation and I know thy works, but thou art rich.
Right.
The fact that we keeping these holy traditions make us more wealthier and more richer than the rich out there with their money. We doing the ancient tradition here with the Feast of Dedication, man. Keep reading.
And with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hang doors upon them. Verse 58. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Like imagine a place, man, like in the kingdom of heaven. Imagine where, it's just no more Islam.
Right.
It's just no more. It's just no more Christianity, which means there will be no more homosexuality amongst our people. No more. Mm-hmm. Like imagine what we have in here, in this small building, in this small room. Imagine that being everywhere. Just everywhere. You understand? Like that is the kingdom of heaven here. That's why I said it was gladness amongst the people. Imagine just everywhere, there's no drugs, no murders behind drugs. Like it's almost even hard to even picture. It's almost hard to even picture a place where there's just no murder behind drugs, no gunshots because of arguments. You understand? Right. Our sisters are completely in their modesty. Right. You understand? Completely in their supernatural state, beautiful long dresses, head wraps. You understand? Chains, jewelry on. You understand? In order with the brothers, man. Right. Like that's a place where we have to erect on this earth, and it will happen. This will spread more and more and more. It will spread because the lie of Instagram and social media is that people enjoy their life when they don't enjoy their life. Right. They don't enjoy their life. That's why years down the line, that sister, what's her name, Cassie, come on and say, yeah, P. Diddy been raping me for years, because they don't enjoy it. Right. They make their life look so enticing. Cassie was she used to sing or dance or something. She a singer. All them singers get money, people worshiping them, loving them when they is depressed, and probably need tons of medication and over sexualized and preyed upon and all of those things, man. And you gotta remember that when you leave this house. Right. You gotta remember that. Because in here, it's easy. When you amongst the brothers, we rocking it out. But when you go out there, that's where the war is. You want to say something? Go ahead.
You drop it in the second chapter. And I see this all the time with brothers and sisters right there. We live in the world. And we see the pain and the torment that's happening in the world. We live in a life of selling drugs and gang banging and murdering each other. And even in the world, we have a sense of that the world is killing us. And we don't want to be in it. And so what do? We go to drugs. We go to being depressed. We go to being suicidal to try to escape from that world, because that world is nothing but death. Right. But right here, what Commander GEN.YAHANNA and the Lord has given us is a place where we ain't got to escape to using drugs. Right. We ain't got to escape to using suicide and selling drugs off people. But all we got to do is walk into these doors and get with brothers and sisters that won't harm us, man. That won't sell drugs to us and won't lie to us, man. And like what y'all brothers saying, it's heavy. Seeing this room right now, the brothers in here that are not drug addicts, that are not drug dealers, that are not rapists, that are not liars. This is a glimpse of the kingdom of heaven right here. I don't gotta die and go to heaven. I can walk these doors right here and experience it tonight with you brothers and you sisters up there in Philadelphia.
All right, keep reading.
Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days.
Like they got together with Israel and was like, we always have to remember this. Mm-hmm. And we always have to remember this. And God damn it, we remembering it right here today. You understand? Like that's an honor to their brother. Like think about the honor. Like that brother sitting, that brother Mattathias with his sons and his brothers looking at the people as we celebrate and eating and how we are, and say we can't never forget this day, because he's seeing the children and how protected they are. Because see, this is another thing that them fools didn't understand that obeyed the king. That them heathens was going to come and rape our children and take our women and addict us to drugs. That's what Mattathias seen already. He said, nah, we're not doing that. That's how he protected his people, man. And imagine that brother sitting there, he had a feast with his brothers and saying, we can't never not do this. We always got to remember this, man. We always got to remember, that's a brother who cared for his people, man. He cared for his people. And that's what we doing it here. And listen, that's how I know he cared about me.
Right.
Goddamn.
Come.
When was this? It wasn't 2002.
Nope.
You understand? It wasn't 1999. But that brother had the Holy Spirit and enough zeal on him to see that all the generations got to remember this. And all of them should have this gladness, man, of rededicating their temple to the Most High, man, and separating themselves from the principalities of this world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Any more?
That was okay.
Damn, how we closing out?
Right. Oh, wow, we just got past the class after a while.
Okay, most high. With that, we'll pass the class over to the priest. You have something you want to say?
If I could too, was heavy about what you're saying, right? Is our people, you know what I'm saying, in the world, they don't even recognize what love and protection is. They don't even, like you said, like they turn to the street, they turn to the world and different things so they can disassociate with what's going on. But they're here, we look at everything right in the face, and you realize that protection is somebody setting up an edge around you, which is what the Lord did for us. Like, I can just imagine how these women feel about their children growing up versus women in the world. They keep losing sons. They had 5 sons and lose all 5 of them. Like, that's what our sisters go through in the world. But here it's like, your son not going to go in the street chasing out this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? He will realize it. And here that he got new fathers that teach him different things, and he gonna learn how to respect that father. Like it's such a righteous place to be in here, and the protection is so strong that people just don't understand it. They don't even recognize that's what it is. Like my ribs, like when we first was talking about, I told her earlier, I said, when we used to bump heads, that's good. That's a good sign because us bumping heads then and then getting on the same page later, that's why our bonds sometimes. You know what I'm saying? She told me before, like, I'm not gonna get you stuff in court. You understand what I'm saying?
Strong statement.
And look, she later on she stopped eating. She want to go to the Passover. My family want me to cook for Thanksgiving. I'm like, she's like, oh, I know we're not doing this, but they just asked me to. I'm like, all right, you know we go to the Passover. We ain't worried about all that. She said, sure.
Right.
She going to the Passover with you. She wish she would have been. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it is. People they just don't understand it. They think we not crazy. We crazy in the way where we want something so bad that it seems impossible to get. That's the type of crazy we are. You see what I'm saying? It seems like it's impossible to go against society, but it's not. We see it at the Passover every year. We get to see our brothers and sisters. We get to see the children running around. This the only places I've been in where I see this amount of women glad to have babies. You see what I'm saying? Like growing up, being in our community, I never seen it. Or people just glad to have babies. Like it'll be here and there, but it's another side of it where they don't even want to have a kid. You see what I'm saying? But here it's like every time somebody find out somebody in the bed, it's like, oh, sign Christ. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot.
Oh, sign Christ. Get up on the hand, man. I wouldn't want to be nowhere else, man.
Right.
Be nowhere else. But with that, we're going to pass the class over to the priest and Officer I.S.U.P.K.
I.S.U.P.K side from West, 125th Street, Hall in New York.
Second trust. Come on.
Hachaanakah, 3:10, Hebrew or I.S.U.P.K, different cities of every community. Priest one is approval, offering not mandatory. What's your mutual rights? It's 2 days in this one, right?
I believe it's 8 days.
8 days.
Yeah, 8 days. Space of 8 days.
Oh, so it's like the next feast that coming up is going to be 8 days. My Hachaanakah, check the bulletin board in the hallway. Anyone wants to get a true food, start wearing all black blue shirt. Pants head, baby, start 7 to 7. The visual and model.
And so like, bring one more thing. We put together, anybody got any like clothes, coats, clothes, or whatever at the house, gotta be clean, can't be ripped up. You know what I mean? Anybody got anything extra? You know what I mean? We got a giveaway in New York on the 9th. All right, so anybody got anything at the crib, try to have it here tomorrow. All right, y'all got anything extra y'all trying to donate? All right.
Individual, we're gonna get one courtesy salute. Individual, amount of rock.
How about she out shot rock thumb?
Got to the top. Star. Stand. Sister, stand. Sister, of course, your mind, your body, with your feet at 45 degrees angle, right hand on your left. Individual, we're gonna get sister one courtesy salute. Individual, amount of body. Rock.
How about she out shot?
Got to the top.